Ready to go.
Okay. I'm gonna do swimming first.
Sure.
Start there. All right.
Sure.
So background, grew up in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Coos Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And there can you want to briefly kind of go what led you to swimming? What kind of got you into it?
Yeah. Always pretty competitive. Always pretty athletic. Always noticed that I seemed to be able to beat other kids in endurance type stuff. Like in grade school, we had a yearly little track meet, and I would like win the 50-yard dash, and they even kept records, and I think I might have tied a record or something like that. And then we do a run around the school, and I would be first in that. So I kind of had an idea that for whatever reason I seemed to do well.
Cardio events.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
events.
Yeah.
But what I loved was basketball and football. And I really wanted to play basketball and football.
So that's pretty common.
Yeah.
I'd say those two main.
Yeah, well.
You want to do one or the other most.
Well, so we were in a relatively small town, but we pulled from a relatively large area, so our high school was a 5A school.
Yeah.
And I graduated from high school 5'9", 135. So you can imagine the size I was as a freshman, sophomore, junior, and I'm in a 5A school. Like our linebacker on the football team was 6'3", 250.
Yeah.
So going into high school,
undersized
major time. You know, like I hadn't hit my growth spurt, and as a freshman I wanted to play, and I played in middle school, well up and through middle school.
Yeah.
But anyway, so basically my mom had told me that no, she wouldn't let me play.
That was kind of it.
She was afraid I'd get hurt. I was bound and determined to play, and she finally just said, "I'm sorry, but you're going to get hurt. You can't play." So I had to figure out what to do with myself. And the other thing that was happening in my life for years and years was every summer our family spent the entire summer up in the mountains, basically in the middle of nowhere, on a river. And you know, it actually was a lot of fun. We built trails, rope swings, and whatever. But one thing we did every day was we'd go down to a swimming hole. We had this great swimming hole.
Yeah.
Little rim of waterfalls going down into a kind of a big area where you could swim and do all kinds of stuff. And so I actually swam a lot. And no formal swimming.
Yeah.
But I swam. And so I knew a guy who was kind of, I thought, sort of nerdy, nice enough guy, but he was a swimmer. And I thought, that dude can swim. I should certainly be able. Shoot, that would be great.
Yeah.
So I try out for the swim team, and start in the first practice ever must have been, I was a freshman in high school, but I'm trying to think what part of the year. I don't remember. But anyway, so I start out though, and the way the swim practices work is they put the fast people in the middle lanes, which are usually the older and bigger kids, and during school there's maybe a few kids they throw in there that are really good, younger kids that are not high schoolers, but it's mostly high schoolers.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the worse you are, the wider out you go. And then if you're really crappy, you're out in 6 or 1.
Yeah, you're on the end.
And those lanes are horrible because they're catching all the waves, so you're kind of swimming up and then down. And I mean, it's like the ocean. And I was in lane 1. And you know, it was a hard transition because it's different, you know, because you not only is it endurance, obviously, but you're face down in the water, and you got to figure out how to get your head out of the water and not drink the water and get air and put it back in and get all that coordinated, and you got to learn flip turns, and then you got to learn the different strokes, 4 strokes. And so I had a lot to learn in a very short period of time.
Yeah.
But I found right away I was really good at breaststroke.
Yeah.
And probably part of it's just my anatomy. I had a pretty good breaststroke kick and pretty good upper body strength, and I have pretty good VO2.
Mm-hmm.
So I immediately was doing well on kickboard when I did breaststroke kick with the kickboard.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I could tell already could keep up with almost any, right out of the get-go. I could keep up with anybody on the team.
Yeah.
And you got to put things in perspective, the high school swimmers, pretty much all of those high school swimmers have been swimming since they were like 6 years old.
Yeah, I'd say that's more common.
Because we had AAU, and then AAU,
yeah, like travel swimming.
It was travel swimming up, all the way through, and I'd never swam competitively ever. So I had a lot of ground.
Room to cover.
A lot of ground to make up.
Yeah.
And so I was starting to get better and better, and by the end of the year, I actually, I already was the best breaststroker on the team at that point as a freshman of everyone.
Yeah.
But I wasn't good enough to where I didn't qualify for state.
Yeah.
But we're 5A school, so it's not
pretty competitive.
Yeah, it's pretty competitive and pretty good. Actually, pretty big swimming state. Really, we had a lot of good swimmers, nationally ranked and stuff like that. But that summer was my first year of AAU. So I show up for my first AAU swimming practice, and I go over to my lane 1, and there's like kids this big next to me beating me.
Goes back to the bottom. It just goes.
But so
yeah.
But I kept rapidly improving, and by my sophomore year, I had broken the school record, and I qualified for state, and then my junior year I broke the district record. That was an 11-year-old record, and it stood for 11 years. Broke that, went to state. And then the thing I remember about the state championships, one thing I remember, this is sort of an interesting side note. I remember going, again, graduated as a senior, 5'9", 135. Who knows what I was? I don't even remember.
Sophomore.
Let's say as a sophomore.
Yeah.
I think I got my growth spurt somewhere between
sophomore, junior.
Freshman and junior.
Yeah.
I mean freshman and sophomore, I think. And then still growing a little bit into junior. But by junior, I was pretty much my full height.
Yeah.
So I probably maybe 5'6" or so as a freshman and 5'9" or so as a junior. So I was probably, 5'6", maybe not even that, and 110 as a freshman.
Yeah.
I think you were 110 as a sixth grader.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty.
But
pretty different. Yeah.
But where was I at? Let's see. I was building up.
Going up to state.
Yeah.
Showing up there.
Oh yeah. Okay. So I show up to state though. So let's see. I guess I was there as a sophomore. And I didn't actually. Can't remember if I swam breaststroke then or not. But I swam at least on some relays or something. But I remember getting on the blocks. This is what I was building. The whole point of that was building up to this. I remember getting on the blocks up there and seeing the guys next to me, and I mean. These guys look like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Speedos.
Yeah, like this bulk.
Big.
Yeah.
And all the way through, and they all were from Portland, and some from Eugene, but the bigger cities.
Yeah.
And thinking back upon it all, I think that's when people first started doping and had access to testosterone. I think I was swimming against steroid
people that
boosted.
were ready to
they
go.
were unnaturally, they were just huge.
Just monsters.
And I was a skinny little beanpole looking thing next to him. But anyway, but it was one up there, gosh darn, it was a whole nother world. But going all through there, so my junior year, things are looking good. I'm getting better and better every year, faster and faster, getting bigger, getting stronger. Yeah. And so I really was hoping my senior year was going to be my year.
Breakout.
So, yeah, so... I went into
summer.
Yes, I went into that summer, and I wasn't feeling great. I was just feeling kind of tired all the time, and my appetite was off, and I was actually losing weight.
Probably not great.
And I wasn't, feeling good in practice, and when I wasn't racing real well. I just wasn't feeling right.
Yeah.
So towards the end of the summer, me and my friend Ron Kaufman, we both had dirt bikes, and he was from another town, but we swam together.
Yeah.
And we got to be good friends. He was actually a sprinter. He was kind of a big kid. He was a sprinter though, freestyler.
Yeah.
But a good dude. And so we go out riding dirt bikes, and we got in the sand dunes, and sure enough, towards the end of that summer, almost into September, I was flying along in bright summer sun, and
you start going over a couple.
Yeah, and then the wind had swept back on the very last one, and it essentially was suddenly a cliff. Like my front wheel, suddenly there was air under it. And it was too late to gun it and pop it up to
try to do it.
That. Instead, I was going like that, and I hit, and I went over the handlebars, and I was tumbling, and I was on a Suzuki RM 125 dirt bike, and it's hits and it's tumbling, and I catch a flash of yellow. It was bright yellow, was the color of the bike, and then it just came in and went bam and nailed my femur and just snapped it in half, crunched. I kind of passed out a little. Was kind of laying like this, and when I looked up, this foot over here was this left leg.
It's just like
it's like my leg is positioned like, my foot
should be going
like that.
straight.
My foot was all the way around like that. It was just unnatural.
That's not good.
So here I am in the middle of nowhere in the sand dunes with my leg torqued, and I'm feeling dizzy and whatever. And
nothing around, no cell phone.
No, nobody's around. So Ron, he just takes off to go get help.
Oh yeah.
And then he ran into somebody new. There's no cell phones. There's no
nothing.
Somehow the word got to the Coast Guard, and the Coast Guard helicopter came flying in and dropped in the middle of sand dunes, and they all run out of there, and they've got some young guy with them that they're training, and they're giving him instructions, and they're telling him to put this thing on my leg. It's basically a big thing to stent your leg, and because what happens is when you're totally displaced, they shorten up, and they need to keep that from happening. And long bone fractures, I didn't know it at the time, but I know it now, that they're dangerous because you can get fat embolus, and that's fatal. So you got to be careful what you're doing. And they basically just wanted to put in traction on it.
Still.
So what they do is they put this little thing on your foot that holds it, and then they crank it. And so they tell this kid to do all that, and then it's strapped around my upper thigh and whatever.
Yeah, and it's just kind of pulling it.
And this kid is nervous as hell, and I'm nervous as hell that he's nervous as hell. And he's cranking away, don't know what to do, and these other guys, they're like preparing stuff, and I think they put an IV in me, all that stuff. I remember them turning around and go, not that much, because my foot's like hell. It's like the dude goes, and then he's backing it off, and I'm in agony as they're doing it.
Oh yeah, it's still like pumping.
So he's backing it off, so they're more like that. But they cart me on that thing, they fly me in, they take me to the hospital, the only hospital in the area.
It's also amazing.
Which is in Coos Bay.
Yeah.
And I go in there, and my temperature is 104. And they go, whoa, because they normally would have operated on me right then and there, but we don't know what's wrong with you, what's going on. So they do a bunch of blood tests, and long story short, they find out that I have mononucleosis. That's why I'm temperature.
That's why you got a problem.
That's why I wasn't feeling well and swimming well that whole summer. And so they kept me in traction for well, the first thing they did is they said, well, let's get that thing off of you. And then I thought, oh, good, that's off. Then these two burly guys come in with an old hand drill, those old-fashioned ones that are like this. Yeah, you may not have ever seen them.
I've never seen them. But
basically, you hold here, and there's a swivel in there so that when you're doing this, it's turning that. And on the end of that is a big drill bit. And I'm thinking,
where's that drill bit?
They're coming in, they got this metal rod and all kinds of stuff. And they basically just say, this is going to hurt. And one of them's holding me down, and right through the upper part of my tibia, just below my knee, they take that thing and they just drill right through, and then shove a rod through there, and then they put this U-shaped thing on that with a rope. They have to do a pulley it down to some weights at the end of my bed. So I'm sitting there in traction.
With the leg kind of...
Yeah, until they can figure out, because it took them a while to get lab results back. So it wasn't like that day. I think they were really just trying to get my my temperature down, because there's really no treatment for it, you know. I guess they were just kind of waiting it out to let my temperature come down
Something
and
can
figure out.
happen.
Yeah, so I don't know how they decide when to operate on me, but I do remember when the anesthesiologist came in, he checked my heart rate, and given this broken, shattered femur, and you lose a lot of blood, so my blood counts down, and all that, my heart rate should be kind of fast. Given all that, I was so fit, and I have a natural low heart rate. My heart rate was 40, and then they didn't want to operate on me because they were worried about my heart now. So now I'm getting an EKG and all this stuff. Anyway, finally they got to the point where they figured it was okay to operate on me, and so they operated on me, and they went in there and they had to, hammer a rod down through my femur. And they said that the bones were so broken up that they kind of just sort of stitched the bone pieces to sort of together around, because they didn't want me to have bone length, loss in length. So basically they just put it in there so that it would eventually fill in and I'd have a normal length of a femur. So they did all that, and I lost a bunch of weight. My leg, when they finally got me out of there, I remember taking a picture with some friends, and I was up at our place up in the mountains. Yeah. So I was in the shorts. Yeah. And I was on my crutches, and I remember in that picture you can see my ribs through here, and then my leg looked like one of those things you'd see back in World War II in the German concentration camps. My leg looked like
little pole.
Oh yeah, it was just bones covered in skin.
Yeah.
So this is actually now I remember the exact date. It was Labor Day weekend that happened.
So it was like August.
So it's September. Early September, like first weekend or so of September.
Yeah. Right.
And so normally I would have been, practicing. And practice, by the way, practice for swimming is rough. It's like two workouts a day. Like even when we were in school, I would be getting up at 5 in the morning and doing an hour and a half in the morning, and then when you're finished school, you come back in and you do 2.5 hours. So you're doing it 2 workouts a day. Yeah. And then on Christmas vacation, we ran extra. We do
more
6,000 or 10,000 yards a day, all for 7 days straight. I mean, it was for a 2-week period, so I guess 2 weeks every day. It was rough. It's probably the hardest sport I've ever done, I have to admit. But normally I'd be working out, so I'm thinking, well, this is my senior year. This is supposed to be my year. And I'm not even know if I'm going to be able to swim. So the rod has to stay on my leg for a year. So I know that's just staying.
That's there.
I've got a big incision down here, and I've got a big incision up on my butt. And all that has to heal because they had to cut through muscle on my side of my both spots. They had to cut through muscle to get in there.
How do they get the rod out? Do they take the rod out?
A year later, they take it out and make another small incision and just yank it out of there. I had it for a while, but I've lost it over the years. I don't know where it is.
You probably mentioned you're like, what's this rod?
Well,
I don't have this. Well, you just leave it around.
I had it just as a souvenir, but I lost it. But so here I am though, coming back, and I've lost coordination in my leg and everything. I've lost strength. I've lost endurance.
Not everything.
I'm basically starting
from
behind zero. You know? So, but I was determined. I wanted to get back to it. So I started off just doing what I could do. I couldn't quite run. It was probably a good year or two before I could really kind of run. All I did was train myself to swim. So I gradually got back in the pool. I gradually started kicking and swimming. And the state championships are in February. This is September. Yeah. That I've just trashed my leg, had mono, and all this stuff.
So you're not swimming until like November?
Normally I would have been, but I think I gave.
When did you first get back like in the pool?
Maybe probably November.
November. I think about 2 months after. Roughly, something like that.
I don't remember exactly anymore. I just, as soon as I could, I got in and started doing something. I remember I started doing some weight training, and it took a while just to build the muscle mass back. But anyway, eventually, so I just started training my butt off, and I remember when I finally got our season starts. I don't remember how long our season was, because it was somewhere in February that we went to probably late February we went to the state championships. So
I feel like at least
it's
December.
probably a 3 months high school season, I would think. So go back, what is that? So it's probably like probably starting in November. We're competing.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
So I
Something.
somewhere in there though I started competing, and I wasn't doing as good obviously as I was.
Yeah, given.
But I was doing okay.
Yeah.
And but I was rapidly improving. And
well, I'm sure after like after the first bit, it just kind of like sucks, and you just like.
I remember getting up on the blocks. I could barely get down in the blocks and stay steady because it just basically was pushing off my right leg mostly.
Only.
And it was just very awkward and unnatural what I was doing. And I got to the point though where I was going back to winning, and my times weren't what they were the year before. But by the time the district championships rolled around, there's some good swimmers in there. You're drawing from a region now, and I won the district championship. This route in my leg. Didn't match my time of the time the year before, but I won it. And I went to the state championships and I got 11th. But
well, I can't have luck.
But so
well, I imagine that would kill your turn. Like,
well, yeah. Well, okay. So
I mean, because
I'm glad you brought up turns.
Because turns are not easy.
So I had the worst turns and start, and even before I broke my leg, just the worst, worst of anybody I've ever seen in my life, ever. And I think, well, I know it's because of I didn't have a very good flutter kick, which means I didn't have a very, very good butterfly kick, which means I didn't have that kick you need that all the good Olympic swimmers have when you get off the blocks that first time in the water. You can kick a dolphin kick. It's allowed by the rules. You can have one dolphin kick. And if it's really good, you're underwater and you're fast underwater.
Yeah.
And you'll pop up half a length. Me, because I think a lot of it had to do with I trashed my ankles playing basketball and football, and they just weren't flexible.
Yeah, I
and
feel
so
like
I couldn't get a kick.
I think also you didn't do it since like sick. Like,
well, yeah.
I think that coordination movement is the same way that you can't just like go do
you
basketball or like a football.
I think
any other sport, any like specific move to the sport.
Yeah.
I think if you're not haven't done it from like pretty young, I think it just doesn't come unless you're just I mean, exceptions to the rule, but
yeah, I think you're right.
Probably also ankle flexibility didn't.
I think that's for whatever reason. I could tell. Like I still can't stretch my like if you look at Madeline, she can stretch her foot out flat like that.
Yeah,
I can't even get to that. I mean, I'm like that. You just don't have anything to kick with.
Yeah.
I remember when we were practice, I'd have to do flutter kick with a kickboard. There are times where I was literally going backwards with my flutter kick. That's how bad it was. So you also get the dolphin kick off a turn. And the same thing, you underwater, you're faster. So here's how my races always went. I would start off.
Block, dive.
All of us dove in. And I was
do like a wimpy kick.
So I would come up right away. Everybody's all still underwater.
Oh, so you're like pushing.
And I'm just going because
there's no point in me trying to do them.
I just didn't have a choice. So it always was like a V, like this. I'm here because I'm always in the middle. The fastest people are always in the middle 2 lanes, and then it spreads out. The slowest people in the pool are ahead of me. Everybody's ahead of me, and so
they kind of gradually pop up from the sides.
I'm going as hard as I can, and I see them all popping up, and I'm gaining on them.
Yeah.
And the really good people, though, they're still ahead of me coming into that first turn. And so I come off, and
get right back up.
I caught up and passed, some of the people, even in the first length. I've already done that.
Kind of ends.
And then I come off that first turn, and I'm talking short course, so you have 3 turns for 100 yards. I was a 100-yard or 200 yards or 200 meter or 100 meter, 200 meter specialist. I was not a sprinter, so 50 meters was not I was good, but I wasn't the best 50 meter or 50
I feel like
yard.
you'd probably have to have a good kick or
Yeah, and they're just built
bigger.
differently. You know, they suck at 200 meters because they just don't have the endurance. But
I
they
feel like
have
that'd be
strength
like bigger, like taller.
Yeah,
I mean, more like
you just different builds.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you look at in track. You look at the guys who are doing
sprinting
100 meter
versus
sprinters
like
compared
the
to a
marathon.
miler or above.
Yeah.
They're just built differently.
Mm-hmm.
And one, if you look at an 800 meter person, I guess I would be the most
800.
analogy of me in track would be I'd be a 400, 800 meter guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a sprinter. I'm not a miler. I'm that guy.
Yeah.
And that was what I was in swimming. So here I am, and that equivalent is 100 and 200 in swimming.
Yep.
So anyway, so it basically was that. You know, I would catch and gain. Finally, I would gain. You know, most people in that first turn, but then I come off and they're back up to me. But then I'm leaving them behind. And then at the very end, you know, I'm pulling away from everybody, and I would still win a lot of times by like half the pool.
Yeah.
Despite all that, but so what that meant was, you know, I when I finished high school, they wanted me to swim at Southern Oregon State University, so I did. I went to Southern Oregon State University to swim. But my speed in between the walls, I bet I was as fast as anyone in the nation in between.
But the kick and the start,
I was so
bad that just.
So I had a lot of speed and a lot of endurance, but I could never get past those.
And no one ever like tried to be like teach anything about like the kick or anything. There was never like a.
Oh, I did lots of teaching and lots of trying, but it just I just
nothing ever
couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it.
They try to get you to like flex more flexibility.
I guess if you broke my ankles or something.
And then just retry.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer was, or if there was an answer, but I just could never get past that. So anyway, whatever. So then I went on to Southern Oregon State, and you know, working out's the same idea. You know, do workouts a day, but by that time, you know, I'm trying pre-med, and I'm trying to.
You're on to other things that kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I could get by doing all that in school and have good grades in high school, but
yeah.
I was starting to feel the pressure that something's got to give, because my grades.
Well, at that point, did you have the thought? This was kind of my thought in high school of that. I wonder if it was similar. Not to cut you off, but it's kind of like I don't know what's the. This isn't really going to lead. There's not.
Oh yeah,
like,
I had that too.
I mean, like, yes, this is enjoyable, or you know, I like the team, I like the aspect of it, but it's kind of like for my, you know, there's not a. This isn't going to take me anywhere further. Like, this is kind of the end of my road, regardless whether I go for another year or, in your case, like 3. You know,
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
kind of my thought process.
I was the exact same way. In
It's
fact,
like,
probably, you know, a deterrent to moving on, because a lot of my friends, they were hard partying, hard
having fun
dope
times.
smoking.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
Having
nobody on the swim team was going to medical school or anything.
Yeah.
You know,
They're there for a fun time.
They were there for a fun time, and I may have told you this before, but back then, Playboy magazine ranked party schools, and Southern Oregon State University was like number
Up
4
there
in the nation of party schools.
It's like our.
And I was partaking. My first semester, my grade point was 2.86 out of
4.
out of a 4. You know, you didn't have anything beyond a 4 back in my day.
So it's
4
like
was it.
4 is it, yeah.
4 was the top.
So
and
BC.
And so,
pretty
you know,
much.
they only had it was a very small percentage of the people that got A's back then. There was no A plus or anything, just whatever. But 2.86, you know, and I've never been below.
Let's blow a B average.
I never been below that
Yeah.
ever. I'd never been the 2s ever. I'd never seen a report card with a 2 point anything ever.
Yeah.
So I had to have it, you know, kind of talk with myself.
Yeah, of what am I?
And this is in probably November, you know, October, November.
Yeah.
You know, so like the first quarter or semester's
First semester.
first semester. So
In the
what
fall.
are there? Yeah.
Fall semester normally.
Yeah, midterms, I guess. You get a mid.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was a midterm report card. You used to get report. We got report cards. I think that was a midterm report card.
Yeah.
2.86. And I thought to myself, well, I really, you know, I
Mhm.
like science and I like math and I really do want to go to medical school.
Do something.
I really do.
Yeah.
But I ain't getting there like this. I just knew. So
You're not gonna get there.
So I tried to see if I could make it all work. So the next semester, or the next, whatever you call it,
Mhm.
half of the semester, I guess is a better way to phrase it, leading into Christmas
Yeah.
vacation. And I upped my game. I started studying harder
Mhm.
and still partying like a doofus.
Well, you can.
Nah, I wasn't
Finding the
lying.
time.
But I got my grade point average up to my next report card was like a 3.47 or something.
Yeah.
And then the next one was like 3.7 something, then 3.86, whatever. So I think I finished off though out for the year. My report card, my grade
For
point
the
average
first
at that
year.
point for the first year was like a 3.3 or 4, somewhere in there. I can't remember. But,
Mm.
you know, not medical school quality.
Probably not. Not
So-
bad, but not.
But I had decided, just like you said, I made it through the whole season.
Yeah.
And I qualified for the national championships and whatever, but I didn't even go. I just decided I was done. And
That's pretty bold.
yeah,
To
well, I
just
mean,
not, like-
it's exactly like you said. I just,
Well, I probably would have gone to the national
well, you know, I wasn't, you know, I wasn't good enough that
to
I
like
would-
win it.
no,
It was
because I
kind of
was
just
still,
gonna be like you're showing
I
up.
was
so.
still having problems with my leg, and I
Yeah.
was still having problems on the blocks, and I thought, you know, it's going to take me years to get back, my leg back. Yeah, I just figured.
Like, there's not really a point of.
Well, and furthermore, the grades I was making, even throwing out that 2.86, weren't to the standard I held myself to
Yeah.
be. And you know, I mean, the better your grade point average is, the more likely you're going to get in. It was hard. to
More
get.
likely for anything.
So I just decided, you know what? Let's just look at the big picture. And like you said, what's worth what? And I decided, you know, I don't need this distraction.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get out of Southern Oregon State.
Yeah.
And I need to get serious. So I quit swimming, got out of Southern Oregon State, and I went up to Oregon State and met with a counselor and walked in there and said, I'm pre-med. He said, really? He said, are you sure about that? And I said, yeah, I'm going to be pre-med. And he said, well, your grade point.
Would disagree.
Yeah, it's not.
Strong.
It's just not good enough. And I said, don't worry, it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
And so, sure enough, from that point on, I was 4.0, 4.0, 4.0. Occasionally, might get a 3.86, 9, something like
Yeah.
that. But I kept pulling that grade point up, and I ended up like 1/100th short of magna cum laude.
Yeah.
So I didn't get magna cum laude, but then I, you know, applied
Yeah.
for medical school and whatever. So the only thing I did in college is I played a club. We had a club water polo team,
Oh.
and I remember we played other major universities, and I think we were playing Pepperdine's water polo team. They're still a really good water polo team.
Yeah.
Like, send people to the Olympics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember if we were playing their club team or playing their team, but we played them, and I remember I scored like 3 goals on them. So I want to battle a water polo player either.
Probably not. You don't have to start it really. It's kind of just.
But anyway, so that's
More
that's
between.
all I did then. But then I started playing basketball. That's when I really started playing basketball seriously.
Yeah.
It was my outlet. You know, I was studying all the time
Mm-hmm.
because you know you couldn't do well enough, and you know because they wanted to keep the number of people who got A's to a certain small percentage. So
They were really fighting against you.
everything's on a curve.
Oh, okay.
So you almost couldn't do well enough. I had classes where 97% on
Yeah.
the test was below that was a B, and you know they're just bringing it on down.
Yeah.
And so you're fighting to get it. You know, you miss something. One question, you might be
You're
an
done.
A.
Yeah.
And I really was trying to pull my grade point up because of how crappy it was from my freshman year. It's hard to dig out from that.
You're fighting from below.
But
It's kind of funny though, because Tommy, he had some not so stellar
mhm.
semesters as an engineer, and so for him to go to like a power school after, it's kind of the same. It's like,
Yeah.
are you sure? Like, I mean, looking at you, and what's going on here?
Yeah,
It's not looking like it.
One, it's the pack you're running with too. You're now running with a different pack. It's like when you're playing basketball in high school.
Yeah.
You just move up to the next level, which is college, and it's a whole another thing. And then you move and then within that, you play Division II versus Division I, and then after that, you play in Europe versus pro. When you're finally getting to the pro, you could be superstar all the way along, and become just kind of an average dude.
You can become a bench player real fast.
Yeah.
It's not hard. I mean,
so,
there's levels to
for sure.
everything.
So
just how good you are.
Anyway, so I started playing basketball because I could run over to the school gym and just hit a pickup game and start playing. And I needed something to release.
Anything.
Because, again, I was studying all the time, studying really hard and trying to do well. So basketball was my big outlet. So that kind of started my basketball career. I started playing basketball a ton.
Yeah.
And I got to be pretty good guard. As a point guard, I'd handle the ball. I was a good 3-point shooter. I could drive. I could really good passer. I got to be a really good basketball player because I played a lot.
You play all the time.
And I played in medical school a lot, and then I played in residency quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I went out to interview and went all those interviews for residency.
Yeah.
Anytime I went to, I'd find a YMCA and go down there and hit a pickup game and play.
Yeah.
So yeah, basketball became huge for me for a while, and I'm kind of running through my sports career, so not just swimming. I'm just
swimming.
This leads into
well, it goes into I kind of see.
So I'll just keep going this route.
Yeah, just keep going down, whatever.
Okay, so now I come to Greenville.
Well, let's go to let's see. You stopped swimming your freshman year of college, which would be like 18, 19, and then
something
about
19-ish.
19ish.
Yeah.
Then you just basketball.
Then
it's like a recreation.
Basketball and water polo.
For a few years, and then at like 30, 28, 30.
Oh, so yeah.
You started biking?
20. No, I was 30.
30?
32 or 3.
Oh, okay. So around there.
Yeah.
You started that's when you started biking.
Yeah. I had some.
Did you
some
mountain bike or anything before that?
No.
No?
No biking at all. No mountain biking.
So you started biking in Greenville.
I'll finish my progression and it'll become evident.
Okay.
The majority of my biking wasn't started in Greenville, but
Mm-hmm.
I'd done some biking prior to that. And the way this all happened is, I had some friends. God, what was that? Anyway, while I was in Portland, Oregon, I can't remember if it was. It probably wasn't. Probably just before medical school. I met some guys that, they were athletic, and one guy was kind of a cyclist. He was a former Navy SEAL, and then
That's quite a neat.
a buddy of mine that worked for the Marriott. I spent a summer one time working there at the Marriott, so we got to be friends. And he was a runner, and so I was a swimmer. So we went and did these team events, and we did pretty well. We did well. A triathlon, team triathlon. And then from that, I got the idea of doing a triathlon. So when I came to Greenville, met a guy, Thornton Michaud, who is funny as hell, goofy guy. But he and his friend David Russell, we became all good friends, the three of us, and we started doing triathlons ourselves, though, individual triathlons. But we would go to the races together, and we started doing triathlons. So I noticed right away that I've never been a great runner. I'm not a natural runner. Like I don't ever feel comfortable or smooth running. I never have. I just I don't know. I just don't think I have it to be a runner.
Yeah.
I think to be a good runner, you gotta be almost like an antelope. It's gotta feel so smooth, and it's gotta be that way for you to be a good runner. I'm a very inefficient runner, even though I have really good VO2. I was decent. I ran a
not bad
sub 40 10K.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But that's not commensurate with my swimming or biking ability.
No, it's not like standing out.
Yeah, it's good, but
it's good, but it's not like.
But but anyway, so here I am doing the triathlon. So I found in the swim, obviously I've come up with the
Do good.
top, 10 at least.
I bet swimming in a triathlon is a lot better.
Yeah, well, I'm
for
not,
your
my
skill set. There's no.
Yeah, except I'm a breaststroker.
There's
The
nobody
slowest
freestyle.
stroke that exists
Is the breaststroke.
is the breaststroke.
Yeah.
So as a freestyler, because of my lack of flutter kick, I would make, I go to state as the last person, the number 4
Like the
of the freestyle 100 meter or the 400 meter freestyle. I'd swim 100. I'd be the third guy, whatever. I guess second or third guy. I wasn't the starter and I wasn't the finisher. But
I don't want to do that as a closer.
Yeah. But I'd be in it.
Yeah.
It was good enough to be part of it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a great freestyler, but it was decent. So for the triathlons, I would come out, top 10ish.
Yeah.
And then the first thing you go into is biking.
Yeah.
And then I found, man, I was just laying people down in biking. I was, the people that came out ahead of me in the swim, I was catching them and passing them.
Yeah.
And I was coming into the changing area first. And then I had to run.
And then the running got you.
And then those runners would pass me. But,
Yeah.
I'd be, I shouldn't say first, but first in my age group for sure, but in the top 10,
Yeah.
And I would end up in the top 10 finishing, but I'd win my age group occasionally, but I started realizing that, I'm now starting my medical career and I'm working
Long hours.
50, 60 hours a week.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to train for 3 events. And
Kind of got to cut down time to 1.
I was just getting tired.
Yeah.
And so, and I was finishing up kind of my basketball career because I was by then 34-ish.
Yeah.
And
Don't really want to be doing that.
yeah, and I kind of, I don't know, I just felt like I was kind of losing that quick first step.
Yeah.
I don't know,
You just start losing the feel. It doesn't feel like you're playing and you could do better, and it's just not.
And I
You
think
can't get to that
your
level.
age shows up sooner on sports like that where it requires quickness,
Movement and
all this stuff. So
More like
anyway, so I
agility.
was starting to lose my joy there, and it's hard to fit it in, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So I pretty much quit playing basketball, and then the triathlons, and then I quit that and just concentrated on cycling around 34. So in 34 or 94 or 95, somewhere in there, I did my first major event, which was the Mount Mitchell race, which is 107 mile bike race out of Spartanburg.
Yeah.
That goes to the top of Mount Mitchell at 6,000 feet.
Yeah.
And I trained for it for sure, but I didn't have any experience. I didn't have any of the knowledge that I developed later. So I think I was pretty much a neophyte, and I wasn't even nearly as fit as I got to be later.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure I was fit enough to reach my VO2 max potential.
Yeah.
But all that said, we showed up kind of late, and so when we got there, we're trying to get in, but the race is already gone. There's 1,000 people, and they're all going by us. So we jump in and get in there, and then I just start trying to get to the front because I want to.
Trying to win.
Well.
Yeah.
So I'm picking my way to the front, and I get up there and I start talking to people that are there as we're cruising along, and I said, why is this thing going so fast? And they said, oh, there's a dude up there from Team Schwinn, I think, actually had a team then. He wants to set a record for Mount Mitchell. So we're going hard, and we're down to a pack of, gosh, I don't know. It's a small, relatively small pack, given that start off 1,000.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking, trying to do all the things right, and I'm even on the front pulling like a stupid idiot. I don't know anything. I'm just
you're just trying to go.
and what I should have been doing is keeping my nose out of the wind and just tuck in. I shouldn't have been.
Yeah, you're not there.
But I was doing all this work, and they're probably loving it. Some stupid idiots up there.
Yeah, it's like score.
Anyway, so we get there, and by the time we get to Mount Mitchell, which is 75 miles into it, the start of the climb.
Probably kind of gas.
No, actually I wasn't too bad. But I had to pee badly. I had to pee.
Oh.
And I didn't know what to do. And I think a lot of the guys kind of just pee on their bikes because what do? Because you don't want to get dropped. Well, I stopped and I kind of found a place to hide myself. So,
tucked
and
on.
I'm peeing, and I'm watching people go by, and I'm thinking, God, I gotta hurry up and pee.
Yeah.
I think it took me like 5 minutes. So I lost 5 minutes right there.
Yeah.
Get back on, and I'm just
Trying to go back
as
up.
hard as I can. And but I get all the way to the top, and I'm like 43rd. Very first thing I ever did. 43rd of 1,000.
It's not bad.
And given all the stupid stuff I did, that was not bad.
All the errors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I made it, sub 6 hours. I was 5 hours and 50 something. The winning time was 5 hours and I forget what it was, 10.
Mm.
And I think I was capable, if I hadn't been stupid, of being in the 5:30s. But regardless, I just decided right away, I don't like being in the saddle for 5-6 hours.
For the long.
Yeah, it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
So I never did Mount Mitchell ever again. But I think if I ever did, I think I could have gotten pretty
Better.
Yeah,
Pretty high up there.
A lot better. I think I could have been top 10 at least.
Mm.
Well, I mean, basically that was my
First time ever.
the way I was. Once I finally got fit and got smart, I was if I was determined and it was a race where I wasn't being a total domestique.
Yeah.
I'd be top 10, whether it was a sprint or whether it was a hill climb.
I think
I could do either one, but I couldn't win because I just didn't have that one little extra. You were a specialist when you were winning a hill climb. That's all you could win, ever.
Yeah.
You'd get dropped. You're in danger. Those little wispy, real thin little guys, they are dangerous of getting dropped if the pack is going too hard. They can't. On a sprint, they just get dropped, whatever. But man, you get them on a hill, and they just, a long hill, they just go. And then flip side are the sprinters. They're big guys.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking. And they'll get dropped on a hill. And I would never get dropped on a hill. I could drop people on a hill. But man, when it came time for a sprint though, they're big, they can bump their way along and not get pushed off the wheel and whatever, but man, they can churn it. But my job was to drag those. If it was a hilltop finish in the race I was in, my job was to go back and get the hill climber because they're wispy and they're kind of timid, and I would just have to get them on my wheel and go up there, and I would kind of be nuzzling and bumping and bumping and get them to the front, and then I would go, and I could get them 3/4 of the way up the hill.
Yeah.
Drop
Well,
almost everyone.
That's a good time to kind of explain.
And then they would pop.
Some things. I think that was what makes biking kind of interesting. Even though I've never been a cyclist at all, I found it interesting getting to watch it every kind of summer of watching you would always have the Tour de France on as like a kid. So every time you kind of watch it, and I really picked up on it until, I don't know, later in life, like probably 18, 19, didn't really realize what was going on.
Yeah.
Just, it's interesting, but not.
Yeah, if you just turn it on and you know nothing about it, just like
you can have no idea what's on a bike. And it's like a bunch of guys in leatards on a bike, and it's like.
And you think there's 200 people trying to win.
It's like, okay.
And one guy wins.
But it's really
It's really there's 3 or 4 guys.
There's 3 or 4 guys, but there's also it's much more of a team game than you would think in it, in the sense of kind of. You have if your team's really good, you have a guy that can go out and can win any stage. Can go and attack on a mountain, can go sprint, and can do pretty much everything pretty well. Time trial. And then you have a second guy that's the domestique, which is...
You have 10 of them.
And you they're like the role player. The key player, they're going to take you, 3/4 of the way, and they're going to be setting the pace hard for the whole peloton to try to weed people off.
And they're really gifted. They just don't have that one little tick.
Something. Whatever it is.
Just one little tick to where they just don't have it to win the whole thing.
Well, yeah, it's like, when you go... it's like you have a great, phenomenal role player, but they're just missing one part of the game that just would take them to...
Who knows what it is sometimes, but there's
but there's something missing, whether it's... Yeah, who knows? Sometimes I kind of think it's a little bit of mental for cycling specifically, because you look at it and it's just how long can you suffer?
It is very mental. Yes.
When you're going, can I just go through this more? And I mean, all of them probably can to a very extreme degree, but eventually they all hit a wall, like anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you have your team, and you might have. I would say normally the teams that are going for like to win the whole tour specifically, you don't really have. I would say like a true sprint. Like you're not set
They
up
don't
to
have a
win.
sprinter.
You have 5 guys that are all. Or how many guys? Is it about 5?
No, you have about
10? You have 10 guys, so 9 guys are just
Yeah.
pushing.
Yeah.
9 guys are working to the
9
one,
guys are there to help that.
help the one guy try to win.
So you have
There's
about,
different games going on.
right.
Is the main thing.
You'll have in the tour. You'll have.
You'll have.
Let me think how many teams. There's probably about 20 teams, roughly, with 10 riders on each team.
I would say so.
And of those 20 teams, there's about 3 of them that have getting on the podium and being 1 through 3 is huge because the sponsors, they're all these teams are sponsored and they're sponsoring them to get advertising. They don't care so much, many of them, about cycling itself or anything. They want the
screen
advertising.
time.
So the best advertising you can get is get your guy on the podium. Either get him on, each day they have a podium for someone who wins that stage for that day. Get them on that, and certainly the best thing is at the end, and the Champs Elysees in Paris, and there's all this pageantry, and there's 100,000 people there, and music, and
there's a lot of
all
stuff going
kinds
on.
of pageantry going on. Where if your guy is on the podium there, you've got airtime of hours, So when on their chest is
UAE or Jumbo.
UAE.
Normally it's UAE or Jumbo.
It's Jumbo
Visma. Yeah.
Jumbo.
It sounds like Jumbo. It looks like
Jumbo. Yeah.
Oh.
But so here we are though. So going back to that, you got 20 teams, 10 riders each. Everybody that's in that tour is an amazing rider. Period. All of them. But some are more amazing than others, and there's like 3 people that there's probably this year anyway.
The past couple years, there's been 2
people.
There's 2 people that are going to win it.
Yeah.
It's between 2.
Well, there's probably 3 this year because
there's
Remco.
Well, Remco didn't do.
He crashed out and then.
He crashed out, and the other guys.
He was the only one who had a realistic chance.
Probably, but even then, I don't know if Remco. I don't know. It's pretty like.
You're right. No, you're right. I agree with you.
I think that, to me, personally, totally my opinion. You have Jonas, who's I think he's very good. Came out of nowhere, won 2 back-to-back.
Do you know how he was discovered?
Kind of. He was like doing local races.
He was doing Strava.
And
he had been a racer, and he was doing some local racing, but he was, do you know how Strava works?
No.
Strava is an online thing that, if you want to, you can be public with your riding, and you can compete.
Like share results.
So, like Paris Mountain has a thing. Well, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
There are segments there where you can compete to be king of the hill, do it fastest, or
King of the Mountain
or
sprint or whatever it is.
And they were starting to see this kid that was destroying these things.
Yeah.
I mean, even ones that professionals have been on, and just destroying them. And it was him. And if I understand correctly, that caught the eye of someone on some significant team.
Was it not Young? Or
it might have been. I don't remember if he first went there or else. But either way, that's part of what got
him onto the team.
And people are going, wait a minute. There's something
pretty
here.
Good. Yeah.
And he was working in a fish factory at the time.
Yeah, I think he just has a much cooler story than like.
And they pulled him out of there and said, "Dude, you can be
you want to go
really good
ride
rider."
Yeah.
And then they realized, "Dude, you can win the Tour de France," and he did.
And then he got on the Tour de I think his story is pretty cool.
Yeah, that is a good story.
And then I don't really know. Yeah, and he won. Well, he went one of the first 2 tours he did. It's like a youngest rider. He may have won 1, and then Jonas.
I don't remember how it all worked, but
I don't know.
3.
If he won 3, then he won like his first one, and then I think Jonas joined.
Didn't Jonas win? Hasn't he won 2?
Jonas won 2 back to back.
Okay.
And then Pogstar won the last 2.
Something like
back
that.
to back. So it's a 3 and 2.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember exactly, but
on his first Pogacar for his first tour, he like dominated.
Yeah, maybe he.
Because
I
no
don't
one could
remember
touch him. And he came into it, and Jonas came out as a wild card. And
Oh, that's right. Jonas was riding for what's his name? He's just had his last tour, retired this year, and I can't remember. I think he might have made the podium. I've forgotten. No, he didn't quite make the podium. Well, anyway, he basically was a domestique. Jonas was a domestique for Jumbo for 2 years, I think, for this guy.
possibly.
Yeah, and then he left and went to another team, and now did his last tour this year.
And then
he's
Jonas
retired now.
Mm-hmm.
But as he left,
Jonas took over.
Jonas took over. In fact, I think that guy, I wish I could think of his name right now, but that guy always had bad luck. And bad luck on the tour, when it's happening every single year, you're crashing and having issues. There's just something wrong up here.
Well, eventually turned it. I mean, you go 2 or 3 years, and it's just like
so
you're waiting on it.
That's where Jonas really came to the forefront, because he kind of crashed out and was sputtering and not doing great, and they moved Jonas
And they're like, go
in
for
the
it.
middle of the tour. Yeah, said
Someone's got to do it.
Yeah, so he took over then, and then the next year he won.
Yeah, that could. But Pogacar was very good. I just don't. What's interesting is the time gaps between them. Of like, Pogacar beat Jonas by like 5 minutes, and then Jonas beat third place by like 5. Yeah, significant time gap between like, and it just seems like it's tough. It's like.
You talk about doping?
Yeah, man, because not only you're going faster, you're going. I mean,
Yeah, I think
stronger for long. I just don't know how much like.
I'm pretty
I
convinced.
I think both of them are great, regardless. I think I think it's the same argument as like Lance Armstrong. Like, I don't really care that they're doing if they did PEDs or not did like whatever. It doesn't really bother me. I just
Well, it's two things too. The other factor is it's a money sport because they're sponsors.
Yeah.
So whoever has the most money buys the best riders. It's not like in the NFL where they make an effort
that's the interesting
effort
part,
to
though.
spread them out a bit.
Yeah.
Because like
It's
you
like-
don't have draft picks, and so you lose this year, you get a great draft pick the next. You don't get any of that. It's purely money. If you got the money, you can buy a Tour de France winner. If you don't, you're not going to get a Tour de France winner.
Well, that's the interesting part though, because UAE is like their team,
They have people on their team that could contend for the podium,
but they
if
don't
weren't-
win the team like cycling. Jumbo's won it both years that
Yeah.
the Jumbo's team has won
Yeah.
both years as like a team of they have collective time that's the fastest.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it's like UAE is they have a bot team. I mean they have a
Well,
pretty-
they all are bought.
they all are
They just have the most money,
yeah. I mean it's pretty hard to compete with that.
and so does Jumbo.
Jumbo also has a lot of money. They have a very good team because you have.
Yeah.
Well, Van Aert could probably go.
He may not. I don't think he would ever be a Tour de France winner, but God,
He could
amazing.
win a lot of stages.
He's amazing. He on short climbs or punchy climbs, he can win and beat the hill climbers,
Mm-hmm.
and he can certainly
On the
pull
sprint?
long into a climb and hurt people to launch Jonas.
Mm-hmm.
He can hurt the best climbers and the best Tour de France riders.
Yeah.
But then he pulls off.
Yeah.
But he can win sprints, flat out sprints against sprinters. And
Pretty
he's just he's one of the most versatile, all around strongest people I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
But and he's not afraid to sprint, and he's smart, and he knows how to get through the pack and do what he needs to do. And,
Their team seems very well meshed,
yeah,
but he especially stands out, especially the last stage of this year. When I like how they redid the ending.
yeah.
I kind of thought that was more interesting.
Well, he was sick or injured or something starting the tour, wasn't he? He was having a health issue of some kind.
Normally he's someone. I think he did. I think he also crashed during it.
So
He
something
probably
was
did,
going on because he did not have the tour he normally would have had. He would have won some
No, but he
stages.
came out there stage 21 and
He
lit
was
it up.
getting better and better and better and feeling better and better and better, and he didn't drop Padacha.
Yeah, I think. Well, he definitely dropped it. I mean,
He hurt him.
Pogacar was not giving it to him, and I think eventually he was like, "I'm not crashing." Like,
I think
I think eventually it was like, I'm not beating him here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Wout continued to drop him for the next. I mean, I was like a 5-10.
Wout just kicked in, and I mean,
He went
down. He earned it.
The only change I would make to that is I wish they did the loop at the end. I wish they flipped it to where they go through the town kind of first, and then you go to like the last like 2 laps around the loop till you have that like iconic sprint of you're going around and you're coming up.
But I think the hill would shred the sprinters.
I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be interesting to flip it. I just think like it's so iconic of like how you. And it's not as much of a sprint when you're trying to gear up to like you have to save.
I would like it to just be back the way it was, because even though that was fun to watch, I'd say put something like that in the middle of the tour, make it a stage. But
I think you could make it the first stage if you wanted to. I think you gotta leave it how it is.
You gotta go back to where it is a sprint.
It is a true sprint. It is completely
flat,
and you are just who can go in it.
Yeah, because
there's something about
these poor sprinters who are, they're killing themselves to stay in it till the end. What's the point?
Yeah, I mean that really sets up like a.
There's no point for the sprinters to even stay in the race.
Yeah, because I mean you kill them once you go into like the village, and it's just kind of like
they're not gonna win it.
Yeah, I mean it was really up to Wout Van. It was Wout, Pogačar, and those were the 2 that were gonna.
This was made for Wout Van Aert.
I think. Is it Evenepoel? The time Remco. He probably would have not done bad in it.
He would have done well in it, but I think this is Wout Van Aert.
I think it's between those 2. I mean, those are the most. Yeah. Wout's just. I mean, he had everything to gain.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to what we were talking about doping.
Yeah,
I think
that's also another interesting case.
I kind of think for teams at that level, most of the teams have the same opportunity and do the same things as everybody else.
Well, if you had all the money in the world,
and then
and all the science,
I think the doping probably hasn't changed a whole lot. I don't think it's changed. Well, the only thing I think changes. I don't think anybody has a unique form of doping that nobody else has. I don't think that.
I don't think there's any form of doping that no one knows, like,
or has available.
Yeah, I think it's just like this is what I mean. It's the same concept of like everyone. If you don't do it, you're gone. I mean, you just have.
You can't even keep up in the pack.
Yeah.
I think they're all doping still, and I think back in Lance's day they were all doping.
Well,
and I think
it's like all right.
I think I'll say this. I think during Lance's years and every year since, including this year, the say 5 teams that might have a potential chance of winning the whole dang thing. Those 5 teams certainly are all equally doped.
Boosting their players.
No, the whole thing's doped.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, maybe you could say some of these teams way out on the fringes don't have the money to have
a doping scheme
dude
that
can get the doping and pay for the doping and hide the doping.
I think that's kind of true.
But I'll bet those top
the ones
3 to 5 teams, they're probably pretty. I think they're separated by then athletic ability.
Like EF Education's, funding in a doping scheme, really. I would say it's.
I think they all are.
You think some degree? I mean,
I don't think they can stay in the pack.
I feel
without it.
I think it'd be very tough. The thing that.
But all I'm saying is, if there is a difference in the quality of the doping, so to speak, or the doping you can get to get performance to here, and some people who have more money might have doping that can bring them to there. I'm saying though, of the contenders, there's probably
they're
the
doing
top 5
everything
teams
to take advantage.
They're all equally doped. Then it falls down to athletic ability, I think. So I think Pogačar just really is a very unique athlete, and I think good. Lance was too. Lance, though, his problem is he was an asshole.
I think that's the downside. But Pogačar, I don't know. You listen to his interviews sometimes, all right, if he was an American, he'd probably be getting slammed from everyone else.
He's a little cocky.
Lance stood out as he was an American going to a very European sport, and he was not the greatest person. He wasn't shying about it.
Right, and there's 2 different environments though too. Mm-hmm. So back in Lance's era, there was prior to Lance, and maybe Lance was when he was first starting out. It was in the wild west of doping.
Everything.
Now there really was differences in what people had and how
Well,
they
you
were
could take
using and the knowledge
cycles
and
and all of that.
and then I think the Tour de France and cycling in general thought we just have to stop this. So they were aggressively trying to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And so when Lance was in there, it was tricky. It was hard.
Yeah.
And they were going after him and other people, and there were lots of athletes you read about that were really good in the United States went over there, and they would come back and tell their stories and just say they insisted I take these vitamins, and I was wondering why can't I keep up? I can't even keep up with the pack.
I have no chance.
And they said, well, take these vitamins, and they take these vitamins, and then suddenly they're like keeping up with the pack. But
but even then, you're keeping up.
But
you're not like winning. You're just like being able to maintain.
Oh yeah.
You're not like, wow, I'm number one now.
Right.
It's like, wow, I'm still like 61st on.
So here is the point of all that is that we're in an aggressive environment of trying to find dopers and punish dopers and get rid of dopers. Mm-hmm. So he was in a really, really rough environment. Now, after they got rid of Lance, that was such a black mark. They took all his wins away. They called him a doper. They didn't call others a doper. No. Who knew were dopers.
They're like,
totally unfair and totally wrong. But you know what? Cycling took a huge hit. And all the people of the Tour de France and cycling know that that was bad. So you know what they did?
Probably not going to talk about it anymore.
They don't. They don't talk about it.
Yeah.
They don't. You don't hear anything about doping anymore. So, and what have you seen since Lance? You would think they almost act like for a while there they literally said we've got doping out of the sport, and I'm telling you, within a season or two, times were where they were before, and now they've been
getting better and better and better and better, and it's like
the Peloton.
The Peloton speed is like, I mean,
it's going
insane.
up and up and up and up. So come on, you know they're doping now, but
it's like the bike, the lightness of the bike just made it magically shave 10 minutes off the time.
Training's gotten so much better. The training has not changed at all. We've known how to train.
You ride the bike.
Well, the training is very.
Well, you have programs, whatever, but I mean, it's just.
But they haven't changed.
No.
You know, we know we got to train VO2. We know you got to train power. We know you have to train active recovery.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that. We've known that for 25 years. But here we are with Pogača. Now Pogača's in an environment of hands off. Don't say doping. Don't talk about doping. So he doesn't have to deal
with all the
stuff Lance had to deal with.
Yeah.
And Lance is dealing with it, just trying, and he's trying to deal with it for the sake of his team, his sponsors, himself, and he's doing it in the only way he can. And he has the example of Bill Clinton of deny. That was going on
pretty
at the
popular
exact
at
same
the time.
And he wasn't being an asshole about it too.
Yeah.
So all that means Lance now is sort of just
cast aside.
Just don't mention his name.
Yeah, it's like don't talk about him.
He was as good as Pogača.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you go watch the thing that I like most about his, I don't think his behavior is exactly the most role model, but if you go watch him,
but he was in a rougher environment.
But go watch him on like the climb. What's the famous mountain? That's just like where he beats the guy. He comes from like the back and just beats everyone up it.
Yeah.
And you watch the grit of like how much that takes.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Well,
it's like if you watch some of his climbs, it's like he was good. Like he was better than them.
Add to it that he's smart.
Yeah.
He's calm. He's calculating. He's controlled. Did you see the one descent that was real? This is when Balaki was.
Not only that. Another thing to mention, they had like no helmets. It was like a baseball
in the beginning.
The baseball descending down straight down. Yeah. It's like, well,
thank goodness they found him.
You fall off. It's
but yeah,
it's a tough one.
Well, so there's this famous incident that occurred that they're coming down. I forget which climb it was, but one of those really treacherous climbs. Yeah. And Balaki has gotten ahead of Lance, and he is more of a true climber than Lance. I mean, he's thinner and but a good climber, and that's how he got ahead of Lance on the climb.
Right.
But now he's got to descend. He's coming down there, and it's a hot. This day is like 100 plus.
Mm-hmm.
And back in those days, they had thinner tires, and they glued their tires to the rim, so the rims didn't have a big edge on them.
Yeah.
And when you got into that heat and braking, the rim would heat up and all that. Long story short, Balaki's wheel or tire came off.
Mm.
And he's suddenly, and Lance had just gotten up to him, and Balaki's going down, and Lance has to go to the left.
Is that when
he goes off the road
yeah.
into a field, and he just doesn't even miss a beat. Steps off the bike, runs with the bike down the hill on the other side, jumps on it, and gets back in. Balaki broke his hip, and he was out of it after that. But
that was
but I mean, just
sight.
Lance.
He was a freak athlete.
He was a freak athlete in so many ways. He just did not make mistakes. He did not have problems.
And here's the other part of the story is Lance went to the tour, I don't know, several years, and as younger, better, and, you know, probably just as in shape, had lost. Like, you know, flat out lost. Didn't have a chance.
Yeah.
And so, yes, he definitely did. But I mean, look at, like...
But you know the backstory on that?
Yeah.
He suddenly pops up with 10 golf ball sized tumors in his lungs and one in his head.
Mm.
And that was going on during his last race and in the Olympics, the 94 Olympics.
Yeah.
So he goes out of cycling for a year, gets chemotherapy, brain surgery, removes a tumor,
comes back,
all that stuff, comes back in, I think, maybe missed one season. Comes back in, trying to get back, and he's just having a heck of a time. And then Bob Roll, the announcer you always see, he was his teammate at that time.
Yeah.
And he took him out to Boone, North Carolina, and they just trained and slowly got him back. And then he came back, and I think he might have won that next year, the tour.
I think that sounds about right.
And then he won a total of 5. Then I think he sort of semi-retired.
And he came back.
Or maybe he won 6, semi-retired, won another, and then they just started they got just more and more aggressive with the doping, and then they just took him down.
Yeah. Well,
none of that's happening now with Padaccia.
Any of the people.
They don't even talk doping.
No.
They won't even bring it up.
No.
And you know what's going on. So anyway, he's got a much easier environment. He's in.
It does. It just kind of discredits. To me, it's like, until they always talk about, like, whatever the guy's name is that has the number of wins under him. So Lance set the record for wins, and they always talk about whoever the guy is.
Well, there's like 3 people that won it 5 times. Eddie Merckx.
Well, didn't Lance win it like 7?
Yeah.
Was it 7 or 9?
7.
7?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they talk about like them, and it's like, that's not the mark. Like, that's not the true mark, you know.
And why? And Padaccia's so young, he's already run.
That being said, I hope he goes on to win. You know, I hope Jonas goes on to win some of them too. Like, let's see.
Okay,
but
that's another thing too. What you just said, you had fairly recent 5-time winners who were still there in the cycling community. In fact, they'd be up there on the podium as the people you shake hands with. All these guys, Merckx, and one other that was a 5-time winner, I've forgotten who it was. They're all there. And they're thinking, this dude's, they're not happy to have their records broken.
Yeah.
So they're there. So when he went past 5, all of them are kind of probably pissed off and saying, get him.
Yeah.
So everybody's after Lance.
Once you beat the record, it's kind of like...
And you're in an aggressive environment where they're going after dopers.
Well, I think that's
very public that they're going after dopers, So, whatever. It was just a...
It was a
just
bad
rough
time. Yeah.
Padaccia doesn't have to deal with any of that. They're far removed now, all these 5 times winner. The last 5-time winner, if you take Lance out of there, was...
It was way back.
Oh, yeah. It was 25 years ago, something. Wasn't it?
That'd be more than that, because Lance was 25 years ago.
Okay, yeah, so it's longer than
Lance was like 99.
So some of those people
07,
aren't even around
like
or probably aren't with it enough to be able to totter up to the stage. They're not there.
You're probably like...
So you don't have all
40.
this.
Yeah.
So he's got it much easier. Padaccia has it way easier now. So he's doping, but I'm not saying. I'm saying.
I don't think it's just him.
I don't think he
it's
has.
It's not single.
Of the top 3 or 4 or 5 guys in the tour that could win the tour, he doesn't have any more doping advantage
than anyone else.
I don't think so. So I think again he's winning on his own ability, but yeah, he's doping.
Yeah. I don't know. I'll be interested. Hopefully it just becomes. You want to see a competitive race. And it's right now. It's just been Jonas has not been able to meet at the
Yeah.
top, and I don't know what that would.
Well,
I don't know what that comes down
I think
to.
it was that the time trial didn't help him. I think the time
But
trial
not only
really
that's
hurt
what
him.
his. That's
He's
not
a
only
really
what-
good time trial, but you look at that, he was well. On that day, he just didn't have a good time trial.
I don't know if they just had a couple of years of bad going into it. Because you had last year where he came off a crash, and this year I don't know if he just. I don't know. I don't know how much he.
He's kind of one of those thin, wispy-looking guys, and I
Mhm.
think, you know, I think Pogačar can work himself through the peloton. I think
I think that's why
Jonas
you
probably
see.
needs a teammate to help him.
Often you have, Jumbo Visma with like 3 guys, and then Jonas, and then you'll see Pogačar just sitting on the wheel with them. You won't see any other UAE guys. There'll be no one else with him. That would be normally like the kind of.
Yeah.
It's like Pogačar doesn't know help essentially.
But I think that's why he can stay out of trouble, because he can get himself out of trouble.
I think he can do a lot.
And
I think
meaning
he's-
he can put himself in a spot in the peloton
Yeah.
that's safer. Those other guys, I think, they get stuck somewhere at the wrong time and they get caught up in a crash and then they crash.
Yeah.
And to crash, I was in I was racing at a level nowhere near any of this stuff, and but it was at a high enough level where it had the same aspects
Yeah.
of team and all that stuff, and of these regional people I raced with.
Well, I think you should go back to that.
I was one tick below too, myself. Like
Right.
the people I raced with, Glenn Papore, Glenn Thrift, Pat McCallion. These are guys that could win these local races, but they were also guys that could go off and race pro.
Right.
And to be petty about it, they had more time to train and less pressure. I'm working full time, taking call and doing all this stuff, so I don't think I could train like they did either. But
Yeah.
I am also admitting that they just genetically had something
That was
a
better.
tick above me. So what that did for me locally is put me in a domestique mode, because I had sprinters that were faster than me, and I had
Which is the
hill
key
climbers
role
that could
play.
outclimb me.
Yeah.
So, and I was a monster engine and a monster VO2, so I was perfect. People loved me as a domestique. I was sought after as a domestique. They wanted me on teams because I would work my ass off, and I could put a pace down that would just punish.
You're going
And I
to
love
like
that.
80% of the race, and then like at the 81st, just like hit a wall. It's just, you're the pace setter essentially. It's kind of dumb.
Yeah, I burnt a lot of
You're grinding.
bullets before I get to the climb or the sprint.
So often you had some races where you went off on your own and probably tried to win or.
I've had a few, yeah, but it'd have to be a certain kind of race.
What's the I think the best story of it, is the one where you took off. I can't remember who it was. It might have been Thornton. I don't know if that would be who you were racing with or not.
Oh, when we were racing down in Columbia?
Yeah.
Okay, so we were racing down there, just the two of us. We didn't have any teammates, just the two of us.
Yeah.
And when you do this thing, there's this thing, God, what do you call it? It's essentially like, it's attack, counterattack. So when you don't have a team, your strategy is that you're in this big pack, and there are teams in there and stuff that have teammates.
Right.
So what are you going to do? So what you do is you start attacking. And so you got to be strong enough to, when you're not the attackers, be up near the front so that you can stay, with the surge.
Yeah.
And one guy goes.
Yeah.
Meaning Thornton will go.
Yeah.
Off he goes. He just goes off hard. And he gets away.
Well, you probably have a
I
couple
do not.
chasers. You have a couple.
Well, you wait and see what
anyone
pack
does. Yeah.
Because I ain't going after him. If he goes, he'll split the winnings with me.
So
I got no reason to chase him.
Right.
But I got to be ready, because eventually someone's going to go, and then someone's going to go after that guy, and someone's going to go after him. Before you know it, the pack's just.
Yeah.
So, and I'm just in there riding wheels, and as soon as they catch him, the normally what you want to happen in being the chasers is to let it slow down again. Now we're caught, it's going to bunch together.
Yep.
And the normal
fall back to the peloton
flow is it
or
slows
gets up.
down a bit.
Yeah.
Everybody catches their breath. Not me. I've been back there resting.
Been
I
waiting.
go.
Yeah.
Now I'm gone. And then they're like, oh, geez. And they look at one another.
Well, then you got to decide who's going to actually chase, who's going to step up. And
Everybody
go.
else does, not Thornton. He's tucking in and resting.
Yeah.
While everybody else is looking around. So then finally somebody goes, and then another. Before you know it, the whole pack's churning, and then the solo catch me.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, so we're doing this perfectly, and it's a criteria.
It's going.
So Julie's there, and Thornton's wife Amy's there, and they're watching us. And there was right before the finishes, like say on this side of the oval, is essentially an oval. It's like going around a couple city blocks.
Yeah.
And up here, it's like uphill and buildings, so you can't see. Once you get around that corner, you can't see what's happening up there. It goes around, and then it comes into this long straightaway into the finish.
Mm-hmm.
So all the sprinters, I hope it's going to be a sprint because it is set up nicely for a sprint.
Right.
And Thornton and I, neither one of us are sprinters.
So you're trying to get someone.
We're just
in
trying
front.
to get away.
Yeah.
Or if nothing else, get away to where you're not sprinting against a sprinter.
Right.
It's so hard that the sprinter's just been blown.
Mm-hmm.
So we're cat and mouse, and it comes down, and then there's a loudspeaker. You can hear them announcing this, that, and the other thing. And then we're coming down to the bell lap, and I had just been off on the bell lap, and you win stuff on them. They'll say the next lap
Something.
wins, whatever,
Gift card
$100,
or
gift
whatever.
card, whatever, and off you go, and everybody's trying to win that. So we come off that, and then I've gotten off after that. You use that to launch. And then we're coming in to the bell lap, the bell rings, and I think I was just being caught as I was at the finish line, and Thornton's coming up, and then Thornton goes.
Yeah.
And he's coming around, he's off by himself, and I'm thinking, God, we're going to win this thing. Thornton's going to win it. And I see him go around that corner, and I hear the speaker, and they announce his team and his name. We were racing for spinners or something like that. And he apparently comes around the corner, and we have not seen him or caught him. I'm right up near the front because I'm going to sprint and get what I can get.
Yeah.
And I ended up like fourth that day, I think, because I won something. I don't know what I was. I won whatever place I was. I won something.
Yeah.
Like money something.
Mm-hmm.
But as it turns out, though, Thornton come around the corner. I don't even know. He doesn't even know how. He doesn't remember because he crashed solo. Crashed.
It's so funny.
I mean, it was a big deal. Like, if I remember right, there were ambulances already there.
Well, that's not good.
And when you crash, they turn on their lights. I come around the corner, and there's a solo body over here, and a bike crumpled, and flashing, and all this stuff. And we're going by that, and I'm thinking, son of a bitch, that's Thornton.
I mean,
He broke his helmet. He had a concussion. He doesn't remember anything about the wreck, so he doesn't even know how he wrecked. I don't know how he wrecked. Julie and Amy couldn't really see it, so they don't know how he wrecked. But he comes around there, somehow he wrecks by himself.
just solo.
And Thornton was the Remco of racing because he always had something. Like, we had a race one time where, and a lot of times it was just me and him because we were good friends. And, not everybody can make it for whatever reason on a team. So sometimes you're just the two. It was just two of us again.
Right.
And we're racing this race, and it's a hilly race, and it was over there in near oh God, what do you call it? Well, I can't think of it. It's river. You know how you're climbing up the 25 going to Asheville? You're coming out of South Carolina. Off to the left there, it's real hilly, and there's a race. They used to do a race back in there, and it was basically like a 10-mile loop. You do it like 4 or 5 times, but it involved kind of a rolling sort of thing. But then you get this really hard climb for about a mile, and you come down on a steep climb, and it wasn't particularly technical.
Yeah.
And then you come into this swooping corner, and then into the rollers, and then you kept doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing that tack counter cap thing on that, and I gotten Thornton off on that climb, and so off he goes. Like I think I pulled. I went with with the group and I said, Thornton, get on my wheel. He got on my wheel. And I just pulled him all the way up to the top solo. And then he was off solo. But some dude who was really strong came off my wheel and got after Thornton.
After him.
So he's going after Thornton. So Thornton's ahead of him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's coming down there. And by God, if they don't go to that swoop and turn and that dude tries to come on the inside and then he hits Thornton's rear wheel and just takes Thornton out. Thornton's gone. But stuff was always happening like that with Thornton.
Mm.
You know, he's just...
And the unfortunate things are just like...
Yeah, he just always... Something was always happening. But he eventually gave up. He didn't continue. He raced for about 3 years or so.
Yeah.
And he went back to... I think mainly went back to just running. And I went on... You know, I kept going.
Well, I think once you crash out, like, pretty hard.
Yeah, well, and he was really good, but he wasn't...
Yeah.
He certainly wasn't going to win any race, and he wasn't a great time trialer, but he was good.
Yeah.
But
I think that's pretty hard once you crash out. Like,
yeah.
to kind of put it in perspective, I mean, like, if you're descending, you're probably going like 40 plus. Like, I mean, 50 maybe. You know, so you're pushing on a bike with no padding or anything, and so when you crash out, that hurts. I mean, that's not a good feeling.
Yeah, he was all skinned up.
And I mean,
his bike was broken.
When you're racing for, you know, I mean, it's a little bit of more, probably a little bit above fun at that. I mean, it's almost competitive.
Well, I think his wife too made him quit. You know, because he.
Well, once you get knocked out one time.
Yeah, he was always crashing. He's always crashed. But when I crashed over him because he crashed in front of me. You know, I mean, it's like. I generally was able to stay out of trouble pretty well. I could bunny hop people. I just kind of knew when things. I was very tuned in.
Kind of aware.
Yeah, you hear a missed shift and you just start getting ready. And I was good at, as soon as something was going down, one, I would unclip. That helps a bunch because if you have a foot down,
your foot's
you can
caught.
Slide.
Yeah.
Or if you can bunny hop over people. It just you can.
There's things you can do to try to avoid it.
You can stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
You can stay in the race.
Yeah.
But,
that's probably the most important part.
But anyway, so I had a thought that I think I've lost here. Well, anyway.
Did you ever not race with, but kind of ride around with George Incappy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I rode.
That's pretty cool.
I was on teams with Rich Hencappy, who was pretty good. Excuse me, this is Julie.
Oh.
And I'm going to say, I'll call you later. But in the winter, when George came back from Europe, he would ride with Rich and me and some other guys, and we would ride, and that was just unbelievable because you know those guys are just physically just a whole other, and they were probably dope too, you know. So
it probably helps a little bit.
But I remember doing hill climbs and stuff with them, and you know they're doing what you call long slow training, which is primarily aerobic.
Mm-hmm.
It's just building base.
So that's staying like your cardio, like your heart rate level at
below anaerobic, well below anaerobic.
Yeah, and you're just kind of going for hours, like 8.
I mean, just to clarify, when you're talking about the zones,
Uh-huh.
there's aerobic zone is there's like an aerobic zone, and then there's a no man's zone, which is just below your anaerobic threshold,
Uh-huh.
and then there's anaerobic, which is kind of like VO2 training your top end.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're training, you really don't want to be in this middle zone, the gray zone.
You want to be above or below.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of heart rate, it's probably about like 130, up to 130 is staying down in your aerobics. And you really only get up into the 130s when you're climbing. When you're on flat, you're probably down near 100.
Yeah.
That's true aerobic. But when you get above 130 and you start hitting, say,
150.
140 to 165 is really kind of no man's land. And that's where a lot of these local riders ride because they're just trying to be competitive with one another all the time. And it makes you carry lactate into the next ride, the next ride, the next ride. And you
So
end
it
up
never
getting,
gets like...
yeah, you get overtrained and basically you start having injuries and getting sick and mentally it's hard.
Yeah.
So you don't really be in that zone. But then if you ever were to try to do a true interval, And
Mhm.
to train your top end, meaning getting into the 170s and above,
Yeah.
you just can't quite do it because you're carrying fatigue into that day. You just can't do it. So you're not getting the benefits. And it took me a long time to learn this. So going back to George is in his
Training
aerobic
smart normally
zone.
takes time to figure out.
It does. But I remember
Yeah.
I still would get caught up in these. Well, it's George Hencappy. I want to get dropped.
Well,
So
how'd you like
I'm
first
riding-
race with or
I didn't ever race
no,
with George
but
Hencappy
how'd you ever ride like cross pass?
because of Rich, his brother.
Oh, okay.
Rich was a very good racer, but not George Hencappy quality.
So you
He
knew
was really
Rick.
good.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I raced with Rich,
Got you.
and then when George would come home, he'd ride with Rich.
You'd ride
And
together.
So we're all riding together,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like, you had to get invited, and I got invited. But
Yeah.
I can remember though going up Saluda grade, and George is probably 130, and I'm 150, 155.
Yeah.
Towards the end, maybe getting into 160,
Right.
165, which that's
Not great.
That's an effort.
Yeah.
But
You're pushing.
I'm
You're
I'm kinda
feeling it
like
all.
I'm hanging on, and
Yeah.
I know
He
George,
has so
and he
much
had a few
more.
teammates, and they're just, they're reading a book, it's like, so yeah.
It's like
And,
that.
and the other thing about professionals, and I think physically this is a talent, beyond probably me and others, but it's also a doping thing that helps, is that you can do it over day after day after
It
day.
just doesn't.
If you're not doped, and I was never doped.
Well, I think like at least physically it lets you do it. Mentally, you still have to wake up and you go do it, but physically it allows you to go do
it's hard. Like I would do omniums, which are 3-day races. It'd be it would start off with a time trial.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next day was a road race, which is longer,
Yeah.
and then end with a criterium.
Hmm.
And for me, I'd have to sort of pick
What day you were gonna attack?
what I wanted if
Yeah.
I was doing it individually. And I usually went for the criterium and the time trial because I'm a pretty good time trialer, and
Mhm.
and I was good in criteriums because of a lot of boom, boom, boom
Yeah.
stuff. I'm good at that. But the road races oftentimes ended with a hill climb or something like that. But I was really tired the next day after the time trial, and I would kind of tuck in and try to rest a little in the road race
Mm-hmm.
and just see what I could do. I could usually get a top 10, top 15.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
But then I would go for the criterion.
Yeah.
And I could, I would say if I was individual racing, I could always hit top 5. No problem. Couldn't win it, but I get top 5.
Pretty
But if I was being a domestique, I could still hit top 10 usually. I mean, I'd still get top 10.
That's kind of more impressive
So
than like.
whether it was a hill climb or a sprint.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how
I feel like
was
as a
built.
domestique, that's more of a challenge than just solo.
If I was
The
domestiquing,
domestique,
I'd push
you feel like-
myself to the end
Yeah.
during the race and then just see what I had left.
Yeah.
And usually I could recover enough to
To get
top 10.
something.
Yeah.
It's still quite a fight back though. I mean, like.
But if I tried to individual it, I would be top 5. I'd be like 4th.
Yeah, you're probably not
Third.
gonna win it, but
Yeah. So
you can get up there.
I took more pleasure being a domestique that would just punish people.
Do you think you'd
And
have done better if you started with that biking
I
earlier?
don't know. I think physically I just
You don't
don't
think about it,
have.
or no?
I don't think I have the it. I think
I
hill
don't think
climbers have this
But, like,
build.
Build wise, you're not like terrible. Like for a
I,
cyclist, it's normally like a.
yeah, I'm not a big person, but for a cyclist, and the way my muscles are the physiology of my muscles and stuff,
Yeah.
I'm a little bit more sprintery than a hill
Hill
climber.
climb, yeah.
Like our hill climber weighed 128 pounds, and he's my height.
Yeah.
You know,
Probably not gonna beat that.
and by that time I'm weighing 150.
Yeah.
You know,
It's pretty a lot. I mean,
and right now I weigh 170,
yeah.
and I go into the 185s pretty easily.
Mm.
But when I was racing, I was like 153, sometimes 148 if I was really, really,
Yeah.
emaciated. but our climber was 128
Yeah.
at my height. Okay, so take our sprinter though. The sprinter at my height, when I was 150 something, they're 175.
Yeah.
They've got muscle mass. They've
Yeah.
got fast twitch.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't quite have the fast twitch of a sprinter. I don't quite have the endurance musculature of a hill climber. So
It's kind of no man's land. Of,
but I have this VO2 that can put me into the top 5 on a hill climb finish
yeah.
and put me in the top 5 on a sprinter. finish, but I can't win either one.
Yeah.
Sprint time trials I could win,
Yeah.
but I never did many of them. I concentrated on time trials. When
Well, I
I
feel
was
like
50.
Do you think time trials were like as fun? I mean,
No.
because it's not like
No, they're
it
not.
kind of takes out the whole aspect of like
They're not fun.
I don't really
They're
have an
torturous.
analogy for it, to be honest. It's just kind of like you're by yourself.
They're swimming. Swimming.
yeah.
It felt like swimming. Swimming was that way. That's why I got so tired of swimming. Like when I finished college swimming, I never swam again until I started doing those triathlons.
Mm.
And I haven't. And since the triathlons, I never swam again. I was just.
Yeah. It's like
not
no
fun.
other. It's just not really.
And to be honest, running's a little bit like that for me. Running's. What's your strategy? There is the only strategy you have.
Uh-huh.
That I kind of did a little bit with running, but I definitely did with swimming, is I would try to do negative splits, meaning your splits in the last half of the race are faster than the first. So I would go out,
yeah,
I go hard, but I would be saving a little. And so all these people around me
Wait for that last mile.
trying to stay with me, and hello,
I've
I
been
got
waiting.
a whole nother left. And then I would just and I tried that with swimming a bit, but time trialing, you're totally by yourself. There's no one next to you.
Well, that's the weird part. It's not like you can't
by
compare
yourself.
it to any other sport. Even in swimming, you have
Swimming with other
lanes
people, I guess it made it a little
and
more
run.
interesting.
But in
And running, same thing.
time
Like,
trialing, you're off. I mean, you have like a minute or something. There's a time gap between you and the person behind you and the person in front of you.
Yeah,
and
you usually, I would pass a few
You
people.
normally pass a couple people, but you're not like.
Anybody you're passing is no one to worry about. I mean, obviously. So.
Obviously, if you're passing them when they started a minute in front of you, it's not. I don't know. That would kind of.
The only interest I had in time
Okay.
trialing is I had, my bars down here like, well, you'd be much
You would be
lower.
low.
I'd be lower than this, but you're like this, and you have shifters, so you don't have to get. My shifters are right there, so I don't have to get out.
Instead of like outside on them.
But I had a bar here with my speedometer and my heart rate monitor,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just sit there and watch it, because you can go too hard and
You
burn
have to stick
yourself.
at. Yeah.
But if you're not going hard enough, you're not going to do your best time. So I knew pretty well. But by the time I was 50, I knew my body. I knew my heart rate. I knew everything about myself.
Well, at that point, you're like 20 years into.
Yeah, and
cycling,
I finally decided to focus on it. I never focused on it.
Yeah.
I never even had a time trial bike till then. And time trial bikes are very, very specific.
Yeah, because lightest as possible, and
Yeah,
also you're
and-
keep it.
And you've got
Are
a
they
disc.
only handlebars? Do they have outside handlebars, or are they just like only?
You have, like, mine had wings that came out to just little, because every now and then you'd have to come out of the seat on a steep climb
To
and
go,
just
like,
come out of
up.
the seat.
Oh, okay.
But so you had little handles out here, but
For the
everything's
most part.
arrow is crap.
Yeah.
It's just these wings like this.
It's
and then these
uncomfortable.
bars out here. No, it's not comfortable.
Yeah, it's
Well,
not,
I mean, you do have pads to rest your arms on.
no, but it's like it's the tiniest bike you can get,
Yes.
and then it's
narrow.
not really like stable. I mean, because your wheels as narrow as it can, everything's
yeah.
as narrow as it can be.
Everything is arrow.
Yeah.
So like on my frame, even my frame was, the headset was. Night
Yeah,
light.
you get the like
I
tear.
had that.
It looks like a
helmet.
teardrop
Yep. Had
helmet.
a helmet.
Yeah.
I had a disc wheel in the rear. I had
Yeah.
a 4-inch rim, carbon, in the front.
Yeah.
Everything's designed to be aero. But a bike like that, though, if it's windy,
It
it's
is not
tricky.
good.
Especially when you're down like that. But anyway, so
Yeah.
what I would do is I would look at my heart rate, and I'd put my speedometer on, set it to average speed, because I could calculate while I was riding what my finishing time would be based on my average, because I know the distance.
Yeah.
And they usually are even things like a 10-miler. Well, you can figure it out right away what my time's going to be, and I knew what my time needed to be, and you know what your average needs to be.
To reach that time.
Well, it's telling your average. You know your average speed all the time, right? So.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to do 27 miles an hour, you better see 30 down there regularly, because you're going to hit some hills where you're going to be down at 18 or something.
Yeah.
So what I did is I put this massive gear on my bike. If anybody who isn't a cyclist doesn't know what this means, but it's a 56 tooth chain ring in the front, the big chain ring. Now,
So it's like
it's massive. It's
Yeah.
high plate, and And I had a smaller chain ring. It was 2 chain rings up front.
Like the normal.
But I never used the other one ever. But I could have just had one. But yeah, anyway, so I had that. And then, I had my normal gears in the back. I had 11 gears in the rear. And I ran like an 11 to 23, which when you need bigger gears in the back to make it easier to pedal.
Yeah.
And most people now run 50, 36 up front. Their biggest ring is a 50. I was running a 56. And the biggest anybody on a road bike ever ran, my road bike had a 53 on it.
Yeah.
And people would run 28s in the rear, even 32s.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had a 21 as my biggest gear back there. I'm pushing some badass points. And so, but the reason I did that is that I might be able to push 56.11 on a flat. I don't think I did. I probably was more like a 56.14, 15, something like that on a flat.
Yeah.
But when I hit the hills, I'm not coasting. I am
That's when you push.
pushing as hard as I was anywhere else downhill.
Yeah.
That helps. So then in the end, like I did a 10 miler once where I averaged, I think my best average ever was just a titch under 27 miles per hour. Just average.
Yeah.
But I was on downhills going 38, 39, 40.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so that's the only interest part of it is all. And
yeah, but other than that, it's just like mental.
The 10 miler, I was winning time trials by a long shot. Like the 10 miler I did, it was an out and back. It was an out and back, so you had to turn. So you're on this
wobbly bike and trying to make
almost come down to a stop because it was on a road, so it's narrow.
You got to make it into
the U-turn and then ramp it back up. But I think I was near 27 on that, even with that turn in it. The one time I did. No, that was when I was almost 27. So if that had been a straight 10 miler, it would have been 27, who knows what. It would have been a lot faster. But that was the fastest I ever did, just like 26.99 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
But when I won the state championship, it was 40K, which is 25 miles. And I averaged in the upper 25s. And that was before the 10 miler. But during that, my handlebars, my extensions started coming loose. And so they're flopping around, but I still managed to win it.
Yeah.
And average, well in the 25s that's a 25-mile race. So.
Mm-hmm. Are you kind of like, you're just thinking like, you're kind of wobbling off?
Yeah, it was wobbly, and they kept flipping up on me, and I had to hold them down. And
so you're kind of like trying to.
It was awkward for sure.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going downhill and you're really hitting it hard.
Yeah, and then it's just like shaking.
Yeah, it was. I was unhappy for sure during the middle of that thing, but what can you do?
Yeah, you're kind of
stuck. I still won it, and I still.
And that's all that matters.
But that was the one time I decided. Well, I concentrated on that because my major goal of that was I felt going into my late 40s and my early 50s. I thought, okay, this is it, because I could already tell things were changing.
Oh.
I was thinking, I am not gonna. This is the last time I'll ever be able to perform
at a high level.
At a level
that you're happy
that I was
with.
capable from back. From this age back. After somewhere in here, I'm going to be no longer able to do this, no matter how hard I try, to be at this level. This is the last moment, and it, it was with you kids too. Like there were times when you guys just needed a lot of parenting, and I hung the bike up for a year or two one time where I just didn't ride it at all, because you guys Julie needed help, you guys needed help, and then you started kind of getting a little independent. I got back on and started racing again.
Yeah.
And then it got busy again. I kind of backed it off. I only one time put it up and didn't ride it for a year or two. But it was doing that all the time. So the guys I knew, the teams I raced for, I'd disappear.
Yeah.
They wouldn't see me for 2 or 3 years. Then suddenly I'm up. Then I'm back on the team. Then I'm racing. Then I'm off. But I knew that was going to be it. And then when I was about 53, I started having kind of some back pain and some groin pain. I thought
everything's starting to.
Yeah, I was thinking I was maybe had a hernia even, and I found out that my hip, with all the cartilage, was torn up. What?
Oh.
Torn up, and I was bone on bone in
Mm.
spots. And I, I couldn't sleep at night. And I'm working full time, taking call and all this stuff.
Doing other things.
So it started to just get run down.
Yeah.
I couldn't. This is after all that racing I was telling you about.
Yeah. Is that probably the hardest part? Because I can't
you mean
for
knowing
me,
that you no longer could do
yeah,
what
that
you
you
used
no
to be able
longer
to do?
yeah, because I still I think that now of when I get 17 when all I had to do was go play, could just go practice, go play basketball. That's all I did. I think about now, it's I'm not terrible, but I can't ever reach how I felt at that time, and I know it. And that sounds stupid, but it's
yeah, because you're 24.
Yeah.
To me, you're such a youngin.
It's but it's
I'm really
I
feeling
can't.
those same things though. So yeah, I can understand what you're saying.
It's just every time it's I know it's just it's so close yet it's just not there. It's just not. I can't imagine that it's probably tough. I mean,
but I think what you're gonna find is if you ever have windows of opportunity where you can put in the time, you can get back there.
Yeah.
But you may never have that time, or you just may never choose to take it because it's not important to you. But at 50, I knew whether I had the time or not, whether I trained or not. I knew I'm at the point where this is it, and it's that when this door is going to close.
Yeah.
And I think I know what you're saying. Where you are right now. And that's just a fact because you can't play a lot. You don't play a lot, so you're not going to be like you were back then. But maybe you don't see where you'll ever be able to train like that. And you may be right. But if
you
ever got the time and you took the time, you would be right back there.
Yeah, it'd be possible. 50, there's not a going back.
It's just
that is what it is.
You do. It ain't going to happen. It's just done. It's over.
Yeah.
And I knew it from watching professional riders. There's some professional riders that would go into 40, 42, but
there's a reason there's an age on every.
They just don't have it anymore.
Hit something where it won't.
Your body just doesn't recover like it used to. There's just something that happens, but something happens. So I knew that I always wanted to give time trialing a chance. So I did want to race too because I had friends and all that. But my focus really that last time was time trialing because I felt that is the one thing that I never really gave much attention to or a shot to, and that is my biggest strength. Yeah. So I really concentrated on it, and I was good at it. I was a good time trialer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really was a good time. The time I won it at 50, I won my age group. Yeah. I was 7th overall with professional riders.
You ever think
20-year-olds?
Did you ever have if moments of if I started riding did you ever think?
I kind of
that'd be kind of.
I kind of have, but you know what? I think it would have been more of a curse than a blessing because if you ever were aware that there was a venue for you to get paid to be an athlete, which for me, I wasn't going to be a paid basketball player, football player,
unlikely,
or a swimmer.
Yeah.
But or even in my day, really triathlete. Nobody made money doing that.
I would say most people didn't make any money in your time.
Yeah.
Doing any sport.
There were these cyclists overseas then, but I didn't really know much about cycling.
Very far between.
But in the United States, you were living out of your car and
you had to absolutely love
at Blockbuster.
Yeah, to just get by.
Just to get by, and so
true love the game. It's not
I just didn't have an outlet. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't have that because it just would have distracted and derailed me. I think so. I enjoyed it for what it was, and I think maybe what you're asking me is, do I think I could have ever done anything in a Tour de France or something? I think I have the physiology to where I could be pack filler, and certainly in professional racing in the United States.
Yeah.
Possibly could have made it over to Tour de France, maybe.
But I mean, that would be.
I would never win it. I mean,
No.
we're not even close.
Not only that, it'd be the time commitment to actually
Yeah.
dedicate. I mean, there's much other things that happen.
Now I think I could have been a paid cyclist, but I think even today cyclists that are on professional
America,
teams
going across the U.S., it's
they're making $30,000 to $50,000.
It's kind of like
maybe, and the stars maybe are making a bit more, but I don't think.
Well, that's to me. It's like if you can go play overseas at 22 to 26, why not? Like.
Well,
absolutely, why not?
And combined with,
I mean, you're not going to make a ton of money, but shoot, like you get to go play professional basketball, you get to go you can get to go to Europe. Like, why wouldn't you at least just do it?
Add to that, if your goal for yourself in terms of career and all that is something that you can easily pick up after basketball, like you're going into construction or something like that, whatever.
Well, even like any job, really any. I mean, unless you're going to specialty,
go to medical school,
it's not very plausible.
You're
not really going to pick up and leave. But if you're going to any other job, you can kind of pick up where.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd be all for it. I'd say do it. Shoot, yeah, why not?
I don't see.
You're never going to be able to do it ever again. Why not? It'd be great life stories.
I think so. I think the amount of experience you would get from it would have to be.
Yeah.
I mean, there also is that shot of who knows what happens.
Yeah.
Maybe you develop even more, maybe not.
Or maybe you find that you're paid well over in shekels.
Maybe you get paid
stay for a
yeah,
while.
why not?
Money.
Like if I'm getting paid enough in Italy to stay here and make what I'm happy with. And
suppose you get to know somebody who takes you on then as a staff on a professional team, and before you know it, you're making, $500,000 as a significant part of the team. I don't know.
But at like 50, a 50-year-old cyclist, No, I don't think I have to kind of agree. There's not really like a.
But you know what? I did exactly what I
point.
said. I had my
last
hurrah.
Yeah.
And I did achieve my goal. My goal was to just see how good a time trialist I really was.
Yeah.
And I was happy with how it performed. And but then it was time to kind of hang it up. And then I realized, I've got the hip problem, so I got hip surgery and got that fixed. And then, but what I also found out is my other hip looks just as bad, if not worse. So
yeah,
I decided, my goal now is longevity, and I'm convinced that I probably did most of my damage to my hip in the late stages of my 40s and my 50s. I was in it too long. I didn't know when to quit, and I should have.
Mm-hmm.
And so where I'm at now, and from that point on and in today, is to just enjoy it, have fun, enjoy the fellowship.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm mountain biking more, because mountain biking, you're in beautiful locations. You're seeing waterfalls and rivers and mountains and vistas, and it's fun. You're carving lines down on a descent. You're hitting jumps. And I don't try to outclimb anybody. I don't try to race anybody. I refuse to look at my watch. I don't do Strava. I don't have a
that's probably different than
computer on my bike. I refuse to look at that stuff, because for me that's crack. If I looked at that stuff,
then it's like I need to.
I was like, oh shoot, I could do better than that. And then I start training. Before you know it, I'm back in there. I'm full heroin. So
it's like you just keep pumping.
I just won't look at it. But you know what? I think, to be honest, I think I'm enjoying this last phase of my cycling career more. Enjoying it, truly, just
as like a
for my
time
soul,
to be outside
happiness, enjoying it way more than I ever did the racing. The racing kind of gave me. I think it's using the drug analogy. I think it was like
it feels so
I'm
good.
doing the crack and it feels so good, but I'm doing so much harm and I'm so distracted, and it's all for the wrong reasons. Well, it's a lot of it's for the wrong reasons.
Well, most of it's just for it's always like, I always think of it, I hate losing way more. Like, I probably like winning.
Yeah.
There's not, but, man, that feeling, God, I don't know. It's a driver. Like,
I was horribly competitive clear up until 50.
Yeah.
Now I'm not competitive at all.
That's right.
I mean, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So I figure, it's easier to be this way at my age, because physically, I might be able to go beat another 60, almost 66-year-old.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of things. Well, not golf, but I bet I could beat many 66-year-olds at basketball. that don't play regularly. But how many 66-year-olds play regularly anyway?
Right.
But they'd be kind of like false wins, false.
What's kind of the
It's like what's the point?
Yeah.
Can you walk away from that feeling good? Nah.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean,
there's no point in it.
there's certain
There's
phases.
no point in being competitive anymore.
It's
And I
much
think
more fun enjoyment.
I think competition was a bit of crack for me too. Like
Oh yeah.
I think I was way over. I was way over competitive for your games.
Yeah.
I was horrible. I hated how I was, but I couldn't get myself past it. And now I think I actually can. I go to nephews. I would get pissed off at Logan's games. But
Yeah.
now I can go and actually enjoy them, and I don't feel a need to get all huffy and I'm not perfect probably, but I don't. You know how it was at your games. God, that was horrible. It was just horrible. I think I can safely go to your kids' games and not be
Yeah. I think it's, I don't know.
That's just not. That's the wrong way to be. I
It's
always
odd.
respected you for being able to be there and be so calm and keep yourself in the game and be in the moment and not be a stupid idiot like I was.
I'm just
respect
not
it.
as like I don't want to say talkative, but not as loud.
Well,
Like
good.
it's always like a
Good.
It's
Thank
just
God.
to me more of like I don't know. It's just never like I love when it's like a chippy game. Like when we're playing like chippy and that guy's like kind of you get like a elbow or you're getting like a dirty like tug on like your jersey.
No, I liked it playing.
I love it playing, but I've never like during that time even like. I think I've had one time where I've gone to a ref, but other than that, I've never like. To me, it's just always been like.
Part of the
Whatever,
game.
like whatever, like.
Yeah.
If we're playing, we're playing. Like the men's league playing in right now, they don't call anything, and there'll still be guys that we've played. I don't know, 8 games, and it's like you still go to the ref and you're complaining to them like they're going to change, like something's going to happen. Like it's the way it's been called this whole time. I mean, to me, it's just not like. What are you gonna do about it? Like, that doesn't bother me when I can like.
That's the right.
You can all. Like, I mean, but
I gotta figure out how I'm gonna play, given that this is the refs are reffing it this way.
But that's the way like a chippy game of like, all right, guys going up for a rebound. I know I can like sneak my elbow under their rib cage, and that's gonna hurt. Yeah, like you're coming down, and that's gonna hurt, and it's gonna look like I'm boxing you out. But I'm going to hit you. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's like the same. You're playing. You play to whatever the ref's calling. Like.
Yeah.
Whatever the physicality is, but you got to be willing to play. Like,
yeah,
that's kind of what me and Case talked about. Of like when he started wrestling, and then like his first wrestling match, he was like, I didn't want to hurt the other guy. But then it's like, all right, well that is what the refs like. They're to prevent it. But if they're gonna let you go. It's always been to me like I'll play up to whatever degree we're playing at, and I'm not gonna.
But
I've never been to like intentionally seek out of like I'm going to. Take you like.
Well, I saw what you're saying. I watched it from the stands. You go
in there and you're doing like dirty. Like it's not dirty, but it's just like it's part of it. It's
you played within the rules. You weren't dirty, but you were tough.
It's hard to explain without like feeling it.
You're very smart. You were a smart player. When I was watching you, you could see what was going on the floor. In terms of offense and defense, and you would always put yourself in the best spot to help others. Because you obviously had, 3 stars, 2 stars on the team, Case and Derek.
I think I was always playing with people better than me.
Regardless
of what team.
Derek, amazing player. Well, Quan
was a great
player.
We had some...
And Sam actually was a pretty good player.
Sam was a good player. We also had...
You had a lot of
We had a lot of people that played.
You were just, unfortunately, on a stacked team. Probably the best team Travelers Rest ever had.
I think it was pretty... it was fortunate on my part of, like...
But what I'm saying, though, is here's you. You're not quite that, just like me in cycling.
I was not there. Yeah.
But what you did do, and I was being a domestique, just like you were kind of being a domestique.
Pretty much, yeah.
Doing all the things that needed to be done.
You do the dirty parts of...
I would watch you set screens that would free people up, like guards would be coming through, and they'd be trying to stay on this guy, and you'd set this nice little
you set like a hard screen.
And it was like a brick wall. These guys would bounce off of you, and then our guy that you're screening for him goes on in and
He
lays
goes
it in.
does something, yeah.
And
I
you're
mean,
boxing out. You did all kinds of smart things, and you always knew what was happening on the floor. I think Derek sometimes even didn't even know exactly what was going on the floor because he was more playing street ball almost all the time. It seemed like. I mean, he knew kind of what was going on, but he didn't always know what was going on.
I think it was a much different.
You knew what was going on. And I think people knew you knew.
Yeah. I would say that's always like the IQ is there. It's just like the physical and the abilities just didn't. I mean,
he's truly
meet up. Well, there's a lot of people.
Mentally, he didn't take his physical gift where it could.
He could have taken it much higher.
But he just, I don't think he cared.
I don't know what. I don't know. I don't know what is. I don't know. I can't speak.
He had the it.
He
just didn't have the it here.
That could have been. Yeah. No, I mean, no one can say but him.
Well, and here's Case. Case is the other way around. He has the it here.
Well, I think he had a good bit it there. I think he also I think he hit a level where his ability and
his ability was not Derek's. Derek's had way more natural ability than Case.
Derek's ability was that he could handle the ball. He could play like a true guard at 6'4", whatever 6'4". He is.
But he could jump like he was 6'8".
Yeah, I mean, he had a crazy vert. But Case couldn't. His problem was that he played he played a big.
Case is a really good player.
Of that guy. I think he got shoveled into
small forwards.
Well, not even that, like a power forward for us.
Yeah.
And then it's like, all right, how are you going to go now to like college and play you need to be a wing, like a 2 or 3, and he's very good, but his like quickness and his ball handling ability weren't quite.
Yeah.
And he couldn't argue with me about it at all, but I think he would kind of agree with that.
I think he would
ability
agree.
In the back, he couldn't be a backcourt guard. Like he just didn't have it.
My biggest praise for him is he took his physical ability to as far as it could go.
He took everything he got to the max.
And he's a great teammate.
Yeah.
He's a great kid, and a really great player, and he squeezed every ounce of ability out of himself. Yeah. So did you.
I think so. Derek, I really like to talk to Derek. I'd be curious on why Derek. I'm curious on why. I don't think he can't. I think he can see the game. I just don't know what. I don't know. No one can speak to it but him. But I think he chose football anyways over basketball. But then I just don't understand what I don't know. He's just one of those rare cases where you just kind of like I like Derek and I'm cool with him, but it's like, man.
I think
I don't know. I truly don't know.
I just don't think he really wanted it that much.
Well, I like to talk to him if he ever gets. If he ever decides to.
He'd be a great.
Come on here. I'd love to talk to him because I'd be curious on why.
He'd be a really great interview.
On why?
Case was a good interview. Case, I really respect him. He's a great player, but again, I respect anyone that commits and sticks to the commitment and takes it to its fullest, and he did just that.
Yeah.
So did you with basketball.
He definitely maxed the potential.
You squeezed every.
I squeezed all I had. It just unfortunately wasn't as good.
Well,
I mean, and that happens to.
I've been in the same boat too.
It happens to a lot. I think more people than not.
Yes. Oh, way more.
Yeah.
Way more. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think sometimes people like that make the better coaches. Because they've seen how difficult it is for 98% of the rest, of the team. There's 1 or 2% that it comes so easy and they're so gifted, but everybody else needs help. Mm-hmm. And you've got to live it to know how to help it. And Case is there, you're there.
Yeah.
Derek never lived it. Derek kind of knew the general game plan, but the game plan for him, Coach Mills basically gave him free reign. Just make something happen.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very tough one. I don't know how much. I truly have to talk to him to kind of understand what his perspective is, because I feel like on the outside it does look like there's a lot more juice to squeeze, and it just never and I just don't know. I don't want to
And
really
you just-
speak to it
I
because
think
I
you
don't.
just didn't care enough. That's not a negative. You know what?
I don't know if it just came like easy, and that's like eventually just became like kind of the
It was
downfall.
almost too easy, and then
I
it got
don't-
seriously hard.
I truly have no idea what his mental perspective was on any sport.
It'd be a great interview.
I don't know. I just don't.
It's
I'd be
hard for
curious.
people like you and me who are very competitive and had to work for everything and see
Mhm.
some kind of value in working hard and value and pleasure from just achieving something
Yeah.
that you set for yourself. And there's something about achieving something that has no monetary value, really. Just saying, you know what, I just want to see how well I can do at this, like say cycling,
Mhm.
you in basketball, or running, or whatever.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of doing it. That's almost more pure than saying, oh, I'm going to go get my MBA from Harvard and try to make it on Wall Street and make $1 trillion. That's almost not, well, that's not as pure as just saying, I'm going to go see if I can climb
this.
Mount Everest, you know, whatever. It's just doing
Yeah.
it to just see if you could do it, to put in all that work and effort and concentration just to see if you can do it. The joy you get from that, I think, is way more pure, better for your soul, really, than doing the thing where I'm going to go to Wall Street and make $1 billion. You know, I think that's almost a false, ends up being anyway, a false reward.
Well, send it on that.
Let's end
I'd
on
say
that.
that's a good end.